Hi, I'm Beth, and I have a quick how-to for you today. I've often been asked how I make this kind of shoe last, like I used in this video. They're useful when you're shoemaking and can be used to shape the toe as well. Here are some examples. If using real leather, either before or after assembly, you can dampen the leather and stretch it into the shape you want. Let it dry fully, then remove the last. Here's an example of how I'm trying to shape the toe of some Smart Doll boots that I'm working on. My husband has 3D printed a device I can use to sandwich the damp leather into. I can then trim it to size after it's dried. This is just prototyping though. Today I'll show you how to make a polymer clay replica of your doll's leg and foot. I start with a sturdy wire core. Bent at the ankle. I then wrap a little tin foil round the bend and leg to bulk up the armature. I check it against the doll, making sure there's plenty room to wrap it in clay. Then I do just that, adding blobs of this oven hardening clay to try to match the shape of the lower leg and foot. I can use tools to help smooth out the join between blobs of clay. I check it against the doll from above and the side, and I'm trying to make it ever so slightly wider than the doll leg. This clay is quite soft and hard to refine before it's baked. Before I do bake it, I'll add a little more mass to the toe of the foot. If I'm going to be stretching leather with this later, I'll want a nice rounded toe. Imagine this last as being the negative space inside your shoe or boot. Once I've blended it in, I preheat the oven and get ready to bake it. I'm going to lay mine flat on some tin foil and bake following the clay instructions. Now it's cooled and hardened, it'll be easier to carve or sand to refine the size. I prefer to do it this way rather than fight with soft clay, trying to get exact measurements. I have an air bubble here that's popped during baking, and a crinkle from the foil too. You can use sandpaper, but I much prefer to carve it. The mess and dust from sanding is pretty bad, and you certainly need a mask. I use a scalpel and gently scrape away little slivers of clay to smooth the surface and reduce the size. Be very careful with this, just little slices and don't cut yourself. Adults only, please. If you've carved too much away, you can use liquid clay as a sort of glue to add more clay on again, and then bake for a short while to fuse them. I can use calipers to measure the width of an area, then carve down my last to match that width. Another tip is to draw around the doll's foot. Smooth out the outline and try to make it not an obvious left or right foot, unless you plan to make a separate last for each foot. You can then compare your last to the outline, which will show you where to trim more to match the outline. If you don't have calipers, you can DIY your own using strong cardboard. I have mount board here and have sketched out an L shape and 2 thin rectangles. I cut them out and then glue the rectangles together with an offset. This lets me hold them against each other and slide them like calipers. I continue to carve and try to match the measurements of the original leg, with the exception of the toe, which I leave more rounded. Again, you could sand the surface if you want it smoother, but this will work nicely for me. Also, try testing the last in some shoes you already have. Mine fits these, but not my boots. I think since there's no articulation or wiggle in the ankle. Once you're satisfied with the match, either snip off or bend the excess wire. You're done! I hope that was helpful for you, and if you're still not sure how to use this, I recommend watching this video. I'll link it in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye!